Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're diving into something that is absolutely critical for any Salesforce professional, integration security. We're going to talk about how to connect Salesforce to other systems the right way, safely, securely, and efficiently. So let's jump right in.
So here's the big question, right? You've got this awesome external app, and you need it to talk to Salesforce. But you're definitely not just going to paste your admin username and password into its code. Well, it's a terrible idea. So how do you grant that secure access, giving it just enough permission to do its job, and not a single bit more? That's the puzzle we are solving today.
And we've got to be super clear about what's at stake here. A weak integration isn't just a small technical problem, it's a massive business risk. We're talking about potential data leaks, a total compliance nightmare, and just huge security holes. That's why every single connection has to be locked down tight.
So what's the secret? How do the pros handle this? The answer is a protocol called OAuth 2.0. You should think of it as the universal language for secure authorization. It's like this universal digital handshake that the entire tech world has agreed on.
And this is where auth gets really cool. I love this analogy. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't give a parking valet your master key, right? The one that unlocks your house, your office, everything? Of course not. You give them a special key that only starts the car and maybe opens the trunk. Auth is exactly that, but for your data. It's a digital valet key.
Okay, so this diagram might look a little complicated at first, but it's basically the whole dance, from start to finish. It all begins when the application sends you, the user, over to Salesforce to log in. You log in, you click Approve, and then Salesforce sends back this temporary, one-time use code. The app then takes that code and behind the scenes swaps it for the real prize, the access token. Once it has that token, boom, it can securely access your data. It's this perfectly choreographed sequence that keeps your main credentials safe.
Now, to really get that flow, you got to know the main characters in the story. First, you've got the client ID and secret. Think of these as the app's own username and password. It's how Salesforce knows which app is knocking on the door. Then you've got the access token. This is our star player, the digital valet key we were talking about. It's temporary, and it only unlocks specific things. And finally, the refresh token. This one's super important. It lets the app get a brand new access token after the old one expires without bothering you to log in all over again.
Okay, let's nail this down. We're going to walk through that handshake one more time just to make sure it sticks. Step 1, the app kicks things off and asks for permission. Step 2, you log in directly with Salesforce, never with the app, and approve it. Step 3, Salesforce sends back that short-lived, temporary code. Step 4, the app uses that code in its own secret to ask for the real token. Step 5, Salesforce verifies everything and hands over the access token. And finally, Step 6, the app uses that token to do its job. The handshake is complete, and your password was never shared.
All right, so that's the big idea behind OAuth. But theory is one thing. How do we actually do this inside Salesforce? Well, the platform gives us two amazing tools for the job, the connected app and the named credential. First up, we've got the connected app. If OAuth is the valet key, think of the connected app as registering the whole valet company with your building's security desk. It's the official record inside Salesforce that says, hey, this specific application from the outside world is allowed to ask for access, and here are the exact rules it has to play by. And right here, this screen, this is ground zero, the app manager in Salesforce setup. Every single time an external system needs to connect to your org using OAuth, this is your absolute, must-do, non-negotiable first step. When you create a new connected app, you're basically generating that client ID and secret and defining the whole rulebook for that integration.
Okay, but what about the other way around? What happens when Salesforce needs to call out to an external system? That's where the magic of the named credential comes into play. Instead of stupidly hard-coding usernames, passwords, and URLs into your Apex code, which is a huge no-no, you store all of that sensitive information in this one secure, reusable object. It is without a doubt the best practice for any outbound callout.
And just look at how clean and simple this makes things. You plug in the URL for the external service, you choose your authentication method like OAuth 2.0, and Salesforce handles everything else. It stores the secrets securely, it performs the digital handshake automatically, and it even manages refreshing the tokens for you. Seriously, this is a total game changer for writing clean, secure, and maintainable code.
Okay, quick recap. Let's put these two side by side so it's crystal clear. A connected app, that's for inbound connections. It's the front door into Salesforce for external apps. A named credential, that's for outbound connections.
It's the secure tunnel out of Salesforce to other systems. They're two sides of the same security coin.
Okay, enough theory. Theory is great, but let's see how this all snaps together in a real-world project. Let's map out the blueprint for making a secure callout from Salesforce to another API.
So check out this blueprint. The key thing to notice here is that your code, your Apex or your flow, it's not talking directly to that external system. No way. Instead, it makes a super simple call to the named credential. The named credential acts like this secure middleman, handling the entire messy authentication process, getting the data, and then just handing the clean result back to your code. This keeps your code simple and, most importantly, completely free of any sensitive secrets.
And what's so great about this is how simple it makes life for a developer. You see, all the tricky, complicated stuff happens up front during setup. Once you've got that named credential configured, your actual code in step 4 is incredibly clean. You just refer to the named credential by its name. That's it. Salesforce handles all the heavy lifting in the background. It's beautiful.
All right, let's bring it all home. So why have we spent all this time on this? Because if you're a Salesforce pro, these concepts are going to come up again and again, especially in technical interviews. If you want to land that job, you need to know this stuff cold.
Honestly, if you can nail these 4 points in an interview, you are going to sound like you know exactly what you're talking about. First, you got to stress that OAuth is token-based, not password-based. It's all about temporary keys. Second, a connected app is the non-negotiable entry point for any app calling into Salesforce. Third, named credentials are the absolute security best practice for calling out of Salesforce because they get secrets out of your code. And fourth, and here's the kicker, you mentioned that Salesforce automatically handles the token refresh process when you use a named credential. It's like magic.
I'm not kidding. If you really truly get the relationship between OAuth, connected apps, and named credentials, you are seriously 90% of the way to being ready for just about any real-world Salesforce integration project or interview question that comes your way. It's that important.
So, there you have it. You've got the blueprint, the same secure pattern that powers enterprise-level integrations all over the world. The only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build first? Thanks for watching.